Absolute legend. Uh-oh. I do stand on this paintwork being the worst paintwork I've ever seen, and I am a little bit concerned as to whether or not we're going to get it up to the sort of standard that I want. Then you get customers who come in, like Johnny. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. So, today I've just received delivery of a car, and you probably follow him, if you're here anyway, from Chop's Garage. Now, this car, we did loads of discussions on. Basically what I've done is I've underwritten a BMW X5 for him. I need the stock. He had this nice piece of stock, and it's turned up now. I was really dubious about the colour of this thing. When it comes to selling cars, your safest bet is black, white, grey, silver potentially. That's pretty much it. Safe bet cars, they're going to sell, not a problem. However, occasionally a really unusual colour comes along, and for me personally, I quite like an unusual colour, and the reason for that is twofold. Number one, if you've got a buyer in the market that is looking for a car in that colour and you've got the only one, he's buying yours, or she's buying yours, or the toaster's buying yours, whichever you want to do it. And number two, I just quite like different colours. I just think it's interesting, and I think the showroom can look really, really dull if you just got black, white, grey cars everywhere. So, now to be fair to Chop's Garage, he was really honest about the condition of this car. However, genuinely, wholeheartedly, I think it's the worst condition I've ever seen paintwork in, and I mean that. Now, what I mean by that is I've seen cars that have had worse paint because they've been painted, but I've never seen a car that is I've got original paint on it and looks this bad. It is like bad to the point where I'm not sure it's going to actually polish up to the level that I want it at. However, it has landed. I trusted him. It is, to be fair, exactly as described. I've yet to drive the car, but Tony, the driver, he's driven it all the way back up from Devon, so it's probably going to be okay. It's got a couple of bits that you need to do on it, kind of A, cosmetically, but B, mechanically. It's got a recall, etc. But yeah, that car is now, I'm looking this way because it's on the camera and I'm looking at it. And to be fair, it looks black on the camera, but it definitely isn't black. So, would you like to have a look at it? Because it has arrived and I'm going to give you my take on this car. Here we go. So before we go downstairs, let's have a little quick check around the showroom. We've got all the fish alive, which is nice, and happy and thriving. And I'll quickly show you what we've got going on down here, just to walk outside. So first of all, this Jaguar F-Type, bought it off a local bloke. Long story short, it was many coming on sale or return, but it was just like, no, I definitely need the money. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. So we have bought it, and we've got a guy coming to view it in around about 20 minutes time. So I'm excited about this. It's only been in stock for 6 days, and the guy seems pretty keen. Seems like a really nice bloke as well, which is helpful. And then upstairs we've got this Boxster S that came from a subscriber. Thank you very much. That's up for sale now. We've got the Audi RS5 that came in part exchange against an RS6 that was super, super cool. That came from TikTok actually, to the RS6. Really nice car, really, really nice guy. And we sold him a Corsa in part exchange, random. And then Audi TT. Now that's the second time that I'm going to be selling this car. So this one went to a guy just up the road, ran it for 18 months, absolutely loved it, was going to sell it through motorway or whatever, and decided to come back to me. This MG's come in from a guy across the road. It's not my usual sort of thing. However, he's just up the road and I know him, so I've bought it. And also, it's a 2020 car on a 70 plate with 19,000 miles, full service history, all the spec in the world, pan roof, heated everything, all the usual sort of stuff. It's going to be like 16.5 grand. I just think that looks like value. Then we've got all sorts kicking about under covers, which we'll go through another day. However, this is the car in question. So, BMW X5. And can I just say, is this not the perfect two-car garage? But look at this car. So, when I was looking at Chops' videos, it looked very brown to me. So I have to agree with some of the comments of people saying it looked brown. And I was a little bit concerned about it. However, now it's here, and I'm hoping my camera picks it up better than his does, but I'm sure it probably won't. That is very much purple. I want to say it's, I forget the colour name. I'll find it for you. But I absolutely love it. And I know it's a proper opinion divider, is this car. But, you know, would you rather have a black, a white, a grey one, or something that is properly sexy? It just looks like a nice glass of wine. Anyway, the paintwork. Look at the state of this. Try and get it in the shadow. Every single panel on this car, the paintwork looks like this. I know that Chops very politely called it Devon Rash, but it is. I mean, there's some bits that you can't quite get your nail in it, so I'm hoping it'll polish, but it is looking particularly rough. I genuinely think, and I mean it when I say it, this is one of the worst paint jobs I've ever seen on a car. It has been looked after because mechanically it's absolutely sound. I'm yet to drive it. I'm going to test drive it on the way home. However, when you're looking at the condition of it, I don't think there is a bush or hedgerow that this man hasn't mounted on his way home from work. It's just absolutely covered in light scratches. It doesn't even look like paint. So I'm going to test drive it on the way home, see how it drives. I'm worried about this scratch, by the way, because that looks quite deep. Make sure it all drives all right, and then we'll get it through the process. The lads have obviously got a lot of polishing to do on the car. I mean, look at this for a two-car garage. Hello. So they've got a lot of work to do. I think that's going to come up an absolute peach, but we will see. Focus ST in here, so I've just bought this off another trader. He's just driven it all the way up from, I want to say Essex, just because of his shoes. Joking, Jack. Thank you very much for that, mate. That is a lovely piece of stock for us. It was just went a bit over age for him, but it's bread and butter for us. I'm driving that at the moment. Well, I was until that turned up, but I am driving it now. And this is a lovely example, really nice, really comfortable, very easy to drive. And this car, if you're already following us, you'll know exactly why we've got a Ford KA in stock at the moment. And we've got some exciting news about that car. It's sold. So the next of the series is going to be coming up. I need to start finding some cars to replace it with. So back inside, and this is where the car's going to be coming into our detailing bay. And you can fit an X5 in here. We've had Range Rovers in, not that we sell them, but we do detail them for people. Oh, and the lads, bless them. So we've got Callum and Sam who work here. Callum being an absolute legend and Sam being learning how to be a legend. They will literally just sit in here on a car for hours and polish it up and getting it looking absolutely immaculate. So the C43 is this one, very nice example. That's just about finished the prep. Jaguar, we're going to get ready for this this viewing on the car now, and let's see how it goes. And I'll give you an update, and then let's have a bit of a road test in this X5, shall we? Hooray! That is quite possibly one of the fastest car viewings I've ever had. That this job totally messes with your head. It just, honestly, it is literally feast or famine. And at the moment, so if I'm being honest, and I've started doing these YouTube videos just to document it really, so I can look back at them myself. And it's a pleasure that people are watching them, and I really appreciate it, like genuinely I do. But at the moment, although you might not be able to see it in the videos, I'm actually struggling a little bit with it. So like the last 2 or 3 weeks has felt a little bit slow. This month's been an absolute screamer for funds going out of the bank. So I've had the VAT bill this month, and the way that works in the car trade is they just tax you on the margin from what you bought it for to what you sold it for. Ignore the prep costs, ignore the running costs, doesn't matter. They just charge you on that. So I've had quite a big VAT bill just go out. I've had a couple of really big warranty claims go out this month already. I've got another one pending, and it just feels a little bit, ugh. Then you get customers who come in, like Johnny. So Johnny's just been in to look at the Jaguar F-Type, came downstairs, shook his hand. Immediately I just thought, I like you. He just like a nice looking, nice moustache friendly face. Just like, yeah, I like you. Just because it's beautiful. I love it. Walked around it, literally walked from the front of the car to the back of the car, looked me in the eye and said, yeah, I'll have it. What do we need to do? Customers like that. It is just swings and roundabouts to this job. Oh dear, and I'm on my own this week. Oh, pot. Oh, smallest violin. Anyway, I'm now going to get an invoice out to Johnny so he can hopefully square it for the car by the end of the day, which would be great news. I've got the 911 to then go into the slot that the Jag's coming off on Auto Trader. And what I'm then going to do is road test this X5 on the way home, and let's just see whether or not Chopsy's impression of is this a car that drives well is the same as Rob's impression. I'm sure it is. Tony's driven it all the way back up from Devon, so I'm sure it's fine. But I do need to road test it. So, hardest part of the job, I've got to take everything home at least once, unless it's a 911, then several times. So, fast forward to the end of the day, and we're going home. Ooh. BMW nail and interior, you can't take it away from them. So it's drive home time, and let's make sure that this car actually feels right. It's got to be said. He's given me a goodie box as well. Thank you and enjoy. Cheers, Chops, mate. Thank you for your business when you're many happy miles. What a great idea. Oh! Dieting as well, so that's good. For for age 6+. I'll get on with that. Protein coffee. Can I just say what an absolute gentleman Chops is? To be fair to him, he's described it as he's described it. It is what it is. He's included a goodie bag there that's clearly for customers, and he's just absolutely stuck to his word. Everything's spot on, and the spec is exactly as he described as well. So far, so good. And also, if you're buying a car from a car dealer, as ridiculous as it might sound, if you came in with a little bottle of wine or a little bottle of something to say thank you or whatever, it goes so far. I can't tell you how far it goes. That Chops, mate, absolute legend. Uh-oh. No, it's all right. It's just a service light. We knew about that anyway. So let us get on the road and see how she is. Let me turn the volume down. Gesture. Got gesture control. Come on. We're going home. Now, I don't normally go home at this sort of time. However, I want to get back and edit this video. So if you are watching this on Tuesday night, this is Tuesday. This is today. It's what I'm doing. Oh, well, that's not 30, is it? Sod it, I'm pulling out on you. So for those of you that have never driven a BMW X5, I do remember when these things first came out and they were a little bit, you've got to be a little bit of a pretentious tosspot to buy one of these. However, I think they've aged really well. I do think that as far as well handling big SUVs go, an X5 is right up there. So I like to take it back on these speed bumps. You know, have I ever road tested anything? Not a sound coming from this. Absolutely not a peep. Engine sounds good. There's no rattling from cold when you're firing it up. I do stand on this paintwork being the worst paintwork I've ever seen, and I am a little bit concerned as to whether or not we're going to get it up to the sort of standard that I want. I'm really, really picky with stuff, and I expect stuff to be as I would want to buy it, because way before I was doing this, I'd be buying cars myself and just thinking, there's just zero effort being put into this, and it should be a special occasion. Someone's going to buy this, and they're going to part with a thick end of £40,000. It's got to feel special, isn't it? So I'm very fortunate that I have rather a nice drive home, because I live in country. I don't really, but you've got to drive through the country to get to where I live. So I have a really, really nice opportunity to road test cars now when I go home. I'm going to get on some back roads, give this car a proper shakedown. Feels good over speed bumps, but let's just see whether or not it drives like it should do and whether or not it boosts like it should do, because the last X5 I had in cost me about 12,000 quid. I'll do a video on that if you're interested. Anyway, let's see how she performs. That for a car that will most likely return you in 30s on miles per gallon and is the size of a semi-detached house is actually quite impressive. They do drive well, an X5. And a brake test. There goes my goodie bag. That car drives absolutely spot on. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for appreciating the amount of rubbish that gets thrown our way. However, thank you mainly to Chops for being a man of your word and being an absolute credit to the industry. And I look forward to munching through all of those treats tonight. See you next time. Cheers.